Okay, this is a 2003 Chrysler Concorde LHS, which I believe was the top trim of this car when it was new. It's owned by a friend of mine, and I, for the life of me, can't figure out why. I hate this car so much. He left it at my house for the weekend, so let's take it for a spin and talk about it and how much I hate it. So like I said, 2003 Chrysler Concorde. It has a some size V6. I think it's a 3.6 liter, 3.2 liter. It doesn't matter. I hate it. It's not a very good engine, or at least I don't think so. It's a American luxury car from the early 2000s, which pretty much means it's a piece of shit. I don't know why anyone would have bought these in the first place, let alone why anyone buys it now. This is a perfect example of a car guy's worst nightmare. A close friend of theirs going out and buying a car without asking them first. I don't even remember when my friend bought this car. All I know is he told me, hey, I bought this new car. And I found out that it was this Chrysler Concorde, and I just asked, why? Why would you do that? Of all the cars you could buy, this is probably among the worst. And I find that shocking because I see so many of the pieces of shit on the road. I hate this thing so much. Listen to it. The suspension is just shot on this thing, and it only has 116,000 miles on it. Oh, that's a horrible noise. I hate it. I hate it so much. This car taught me what it means to have no steering feel. There's just none. I mean, the wheel floats, but you just have no idea that it's actually connected to the wheels, let alone the car. It's very soft, very plush, and just there's nothing. There's no feel whatsoever. The one thing that it may have going for it in the performance department is it's relatively quick. But when you couple an engine like that to what I can only assume is a 4-speed automatic transmission, it's just awful. I mean, I have to put my foot to the floor and wait 2 seconds before it actually moves. And when it does pick up and go, the suspension is so floaty that the whole car just lurches back, and it's just awful. I hate it. I hate this car so much. It's just so bad. Everything about it just feels bad. That's not really fair. Not everything about it feels bad. The seats are actually quite cushiony and comfortable. The leather in it is really nice leather. The car is very roomy. It's extremely wide. I can't even come close to reaching the other side of the car from the driver's seat. The back seats have tons of legroom. The whole cabin, for as low as the car is, because it has a very short roof, and as long and just cloud ugly shaped it is, it's got very good visibility, except out the back. The rear window's a little bit small, but everywhere else is actually not bad at all. But the seats and the visibility aside, the interior, it just feels like what you might expect from a early 2000s American land yacht. It's got wood that I don't think is actually wood, and it's got this soft touch crap dashboard, and all the switch gear just feels like it's falling apart now, and this whole radio feels very crappy early 2000s. The clock face style gauges look nice, but it's very bland. They do look cool at night, I'll give them that. They have sort of that old indigo color to them, but everything just makes noise. The car creaks. It's just awful. I hate it so much. I hate this car. I really do. I don't understand why anyone would buy it. The only possible scenario that I've been able to come up with as to how somebody ends up with a 2003 Chrysler Concorde is they decided they needed a new car, but they had a pretty low budget. And they went to the first used car lot they could find and said they wanted something comfortable. And the salesman, realizing that he had somebody coming in that knew nothing about cars, said, maybe I can finally offload that piece of shit Chrysler Concorde that's been sitting on the lot for 6 months. And he took the buyer over to the Chrysler Concorde and said, hey, well, this 2003 Chrysler Concorde is pretty plush inside. It's a really nice car. They said, oh boy, you must be right, and bought it on the spot. Because there's no other scenario where someone would possibly end up with one of these piece of shit cars. There's nothing redeeming about it. It's kind of comfortable, but it's not like it's any more comfortable than anything else you could get for the money. The power is there, but it's really not that spectacularly powerful, and who cares if it's powerful? It doesn't really matter when the car wobbles as much as it does. The ride itself actually isn't that good, and that's shocking to me, because for as floaty as this car is, you would think that it would absorb the bumps, but really what it does is it sort of bounds down the road like a ship at sea. And every little bump, because the suspension is shot, just gets translated straight to your spine. It's actually kind of hard to describe how bad the ride is in this thing, because it's not obscenely bad to the point where you notice it immediately, but you drive it for a little bit and you just think, like, why am I feeling all these bumps? For the way it wallows around, you would think it'd be better, but it's just a piece of shit. And coupled with the suspension that's just shot on this thing, that squeaky noise, it's just miserable to drive. My friend and I replaced the heater, the blower, last week or 2 weeks ago, and that thing just makes noise. It's just loud and annoying. Just everything about this car is terrible. I hate it so much. I cannot wait until my friend gets rid of it, because it's just miserable. So 2003 Chrysler Concorde, don't buy one of these cars unless you want to understand what it is to hate driving.